My name is Carla Miller, 32, an estate lawyer. My job is to distribute people's assets after death. Who gets the house, who gets the stocks, who gets that worthless oil painting. For 5 years, I hadn't countered a single interesting case, until my own marriage became a cold case. 5 years ago, my grandfather passed away. He left me a trust fund, on the condition that I must marry before turning 30. Not find a partner, but marry. I looked for legal loopholes and found that I only needed a formal marriage. No love needed, no cohabitation required, just a piece of paper, a name. I found an agency, the kind that specializes in actor services. I paid $5,000, and they sent me a resume. The man in the photo was 32, with dark hair, gray, faint smile. The resume read, Ethan Black, freelance, no criminal record, available for legal marriage services. I chose him because of one line, don't ask questions. On the wedding day, he wore a dark blue suit and arrived 10 minutes early. He stood there, hands in his pockets, looking at the photos of former mayors, his expression quiet. As I walked in, my heels clicked crisply on the marble floor. He turned his head and glanced at me. It was brief, but he smiled.
Carla?
Ethan. We shook hands. His hand was warm, with a thin layer of calluses on his palm. Those calluses weren't from holding a pen, more like from handling tools or equipment. I noticed, but didn't ask, because this is the resume said, won't ask questions. I shouldn't either. The ceremony lasted only 5 minutes.
Do you take this person to be your lawfully wedded spouse?
I do.
I do.
Prepared by the agency.
I put it on. It fit perfectly. He put it on. The inside of the ring was smooth, no engraving. It belonged to no story, only to this transaction. After signing, he said,
Do you need a photo together?
No need.
Then I'll leave first.
Okay. He left. I held the marriage certificate, standing at City Hall entrance. The sunlight was bright, making me squint. I was married, to a man whose full name I didn't even know, but I didn't care, because it was just a transaction. The certificate felt heavy, stuffed it into my bag, alongside those state documents. Like them, it was just a contract. In the first year of marriage, we only met 4 times. The first time was for tax filing. He brought his income proof, I brought mine. We sat in the accountant's office for 40 minutes, barely speaking. He sat next to me. The chair was old, creaking with every movement. His fingers tapped lightly on his knee. No rhythm, just tapping. The second time was a family gathering. My grandfather's lawyer came to verify the authenticity of the marriage. Suit, same neatly combed. The gathering, he called me darling, poured wine for me, and held my coat. When his hand touched my shoulder, the movement was gentle, as if very gentlemanly. What do you do for work?
Freelance.
In what field?
Various fields.
When he answered, his eyes didn't dodge, but the curve of his mouth changed, not a smile, but defense. The third time was my birthday. He showed up at my door without notice, carrying a paper bag with a potted phalaenopsis orchid inside. The flowers were purple, very small, petals thin as paper. What is this?
Birthday gift. The agency said married people should give gifts.
You didn't have to.
I know, but your file says you like flowers. If you don't like it, you can throw it away.
I didn't throw it away. Addressed as Dear Mr. Black and Dear Miss Miller. I never deleted those emails. The 4th meeting was when he came to sign renewal contract. Our marriage contract was renewed annually. He sat in my office for 15 minutes, signed the contract, took the check.
Do you want to continue?
What about you?
I have no objection.
Then let's continue. He left. I stood by the window, watching his car drive out of the parking lot. It was an old Honda, silver, with a scratch on the rear bumper. I noticed that scratch, because I had one too. Not a coincidence, but the tech understanding of the poor. In the 3rd year of marriage, I discovered something. He wasn't a freelancer, he barely worked. His income statement showed fixed annual earnings sourced from consulting services. I didn't know who was sending him money, but the amount was just enough for him to live, no more, no less. Not enough to raise suspicion, not so little that he needed to find work. He lived in a tiny apartment in the South District, near the airport. Not to see him, but because he forgot to sign a document, I dropped it off on my way. It was raining lightly that day. Raindrops hit the car window, blurring the streetlights. The apartment was in an old building. The hallway lights were covered demarron, revealing peeling paint on the walls. His apartment number was 204. The door was and the sound of a radio came from inside, playing jazz. The saxophone sounded horny. I knocked on the door. He walked over, wearing an old t-shirt, hair slightly messy. He saw me and paused for a moment. You forgot to sign the document. I didn't go in, but my eyes scanned inside.
Oh, come in.
The living room was small, with a sofa, a table, and a stack of books. No photos, suitcase leaning against the corner, black with an old luggage tag tied to the zipper, the writing blurred. Suitcase looked ready to be picked up at any moment. He signed the document and handed it back to me. Do you travel often?
What?
The suitcase. He glanced at the suitcase and paused. The pause was brief, but long enough for me to notice his fingers tightening.
It's a habit.
He walked me to the door. The elevator arrived, and I stepped in. As the door closed, I saw him standing in the hallway, his figure thin, and the light went out again. The elevator descended. The voice-activated lights turned on one by one, then off one by one. In the 4th year of marriage, our relationship changed not because love, but because of habit. He remembered I take my coffee without sugar. Imber doesn't eat entree. He'd add best guards at the end of emails, add a smiley face after my signature. We occasionally briefed on the phone, but small talk. I'd say 2 people reading in the same house, knowing the other is there without speaking. What are you doing here?
Just passing by.
Your office is in the south.
I know. It's not safe for you to work so late. Let me drive you home.
Were you waiting for me? He didn't answer, just handed me the coffee in his hand.
It's cold, but still drinkable.
I got in the car. The cab had a faint smell of coffee, mixed with the scent of cedar wood air freshener. He played an old song. I didn't, but the melody was familiar, like I'd heard it on some radio station long ago. Outside the window, streetlights retreated one by one. Ethan. Why do you do this job?
Which job?
Playing someone else's husband. He was silent for a long time. The car turned into my street, the streetlights dim yellow, shadows of plane trees swallowing on the car body.
Because I need money.
Everyone does.
Carla, some things, knowing too much is not safe for you.
I got out of the car. He waited for me to enter the building before driving away. I didn't look back, but I watched from the second-floor window as his car lights disappeared around the corner. That taillight grew smaller and slosser, finally like a red dot, swallowed by the night. In the 5th year, when it was time to renew, he didn't come. He sent the signed contract by courier, not in person. The package was wrapped in cap paper, corners folded neatly. I called him, no answer. Sent emails, no reply. Sent emails. I went to his apartment. 204, the door was locked. The hallway light was broken. I stomped twice, it didn't turn on. I knocked for a long time, knuckles rapping on the wooden door, the sound muffled. No one answered. I went downstairs and asked the doorman. He was an old man with gray hair reading the horse racing paper. Excuse me, where did the tenant of 204 move to?
He moved out last month.
Moved where?
Don't know. He left in a hurry, only took one suitcase, the black one.
My fingers tightened around the phone. I called the police. A young officer arrived, spoke quickly. He checked the household registration system, fingers tapping on the keyboard for a while, frowning.
No record found.
What does that mean?
This identity doesn't exist. Social security number, driver license, passport, all fake. Your husband is a non-existent person.
I was stunned. Non-existent? I've been married to him for 5 years. How can he not exist?
Ma'am, are you sure you married him?
I have a marriage certificate.
But the identity he used to register is fake. The marriage is valid, but the spouse is fictitious.
My hands were shaking. 5 years of marriage, 5 years of contracts, 5 years of birthday gifts. No, the flowers were real. The orchis still blooming on the windowsill, but the precious Sikuru gavens in the sunlight. I took leave and started investigating on my own. I'm a lawyer. Investigating people is part of my job. I went through all his emails, texts. 5 years have filled the screen, line by line, like medical records. His number was disconnected to email deleted, his social media accounts wiped, like a ghost, appearing and disappearing without a trace. I found his only friend, not a friend, his former landmaid, an old lady living in the South District, raising 3 cats. When I arrived, the cats were sunbathing on the windsill, their fur gray.
Ethan, he rented my 5 years. Nice, quiet, never late on rent. Before he left, he even helped me weed the garden.
Did he say where he was going?
No, but a week before he left, someone came, wore a black suit, sunglasses, very fierce.
After Ethan met that person, his complexion was very bad. What did that person say?
I overheard one sentence. He said, "You should leave."
My blood ran cold. It wasn't a breakup, not hiding from debt. Someone made him leave. I investigated the man in the black suit. The surveillance footage was overridden, but I found a clip from a corner convenience store. The image was blurry with flickering static. A man, tall and in dark, walked quickly to the apartment building. His gaze distinctive, shoulders squared, like a soldier or an agent. Before entering, he looked back once, as if checking if anyone was following. I sent the screenshot to a friend who works as a private detective. Sheer quickly. I've seen this person. He works for the federal government. Which specific and apart? Federal government. Ethan is no ordinary person. I stared at that blurry screenshot, chills running down my spine. I started going through what he left behind. Not much. He left cleanly, but there was a cardboard box in the corner of the apartment. The box was old, edges worn white, with a blurry shipping label. I brought it home and placed it on the dining table. Inside the box, no photos, no letters, just a notebook. dates, locations, names, like a list. The first page read, Carla Miller, March 15, 2020, City Hall, a check mark. My name, our wedding date, checked off. Third page, Victor Mormenzes, June 2022, 1, hotel, also check mark. My finger stopped there. Victor Morete, I've heard that name. The head of Chicago's largest crime syndicate, wanted by the FBI for 10 years, never caught. He controlled drugs, arms, money laundering with hundreds of men. Ethan was watching him. I took a photo of the notebook and sent it to my detective friend. She wrote quickly. He controlled drugs, arms, money laundering with hundred was watching him. I took a photo of the notebook and sent it to my detective friend. But I couldn't stop, because I'd discovered something. The names in the notebook were mostly members of the Moriti crime syndicate. Ethan had been recording their movements. He was a witness. He was part of the FBI Witness Protection Program. I went to the FBI Chicago field office. The building was gray, glass walls reflecting the clouds. I need to speak with someone from the Witness Protection Program.
May I ask what this is regarding?
My husband is missing. He might be one of your witnesses.
Wait a moment, 40 minutes.
The clock on the wall moved slower than my heartbeat. A man in a dark suit walked out. 40s, graying hair, deep bags under his eyes.
Carla Miller, I'm Agent Hart.
My husband.
Let's talk inside.
Ethan Black is our witness. His real name isn't Ethan. His identity was created by us. Last year, his cover was blown. Morelli's people found him. We had to terminate the program early and move him to safety.
Where is he? Is he safe? Are you still waiting for him? No. But I kept the flower. She looked at me, didn't press further. She's a smart woman. The first month after Ethan left, I packed his things into a cardboard box. Notebook, marriage certificate, that postcard. No, the post came later. Nothing happened this month. The box went to the bottom of the closet, squeezed with out-of-season sweaters. The orchid was still blooming. I'd changed its soil, added fertilize. I'd warning, moved it to the window shield at night, letting it baste in the moonlight. The second month, I received a package. No sender, no address, just one line. For Carla Miller. The postmark was from Florida. My hands shook as I opened it, the tape tearing loudly. Inside was a postcard. Front, beach, blue sea, white sand, waves shimmering like silver in the sun. Back one sentence only. It was his handwriting, I recognized it. Those words slowly, stroke by stroke, as if afraid I wouldn't clearly. He's still here. He's alive. He used a postcard, the flower bloom, he's quietly. That postcard stayed on onto the fridge for a corner slightly by the kitchen heat. Agent Hart came to see me again. This time, his expression was heavier.
Moretti's people found Ethan's new identity. He has to move again.
How long? Can I see him just once?
No.
Why?
Because being together will get him killed.
I fell silent. He was right. Ethan's cover was blown because Moretti found our marriage record. The marriage 5 years ago was his only flaw. That was me. I was his flaw. What if I divorce him?
Morelli won't believe it. He'll just think you're acting better.
Then what can I do?
Nothing. Just wait for him.
Wait for how long?
I don't know, maybe a year, maybe 10, maybe forever.
How do you come back from that? I saw him off, stood by the window watching car leave the park lot. Different from Ethan's car, this was a black SUV. No scratches. But I stared at that door for a mind Winston the camphor reflected, lips colorless. I will wait, no matter how long, because he is my husband. I started having insomnia. Every night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. There was a crack on the ceiling left by a heating leak last winter, shaped by question mark. Why would I ask him? I don't even know his name. You don't know what he looks like. You do, but that face is fake. When he smiled, it was Ethan's smile. When he drank coffee, it was Ethan's habit, but he wasn't Ethan. Ethan was a non-existent person. And took out the notebook. The last page had Carla Miller checked off. Below was a line of tiny text. The handwriting was light, as if afraid of being seen. My tears fell. Not because he remembered, but because I remembered him. I remembered how he walked, small steps, but steady. I remembered his voice like he hadn't fully woken up. I remembered the old song he played while driving. The saxophone sounded horny, like a sigh. Those were real. His identity was fake, but his habits were real. His smile was real. I decided not to annul the marriage. Somers whether that marriage was by me and him, stamped by me and him. Not an agent, not an actor, but us. I held that marriage certificate. The paper was thin, the words were faint, but it was real. I will wait for him to come back. No matter how long. I started investigating the Moretti case, not for revenge, but to know what Ethan was hiding from. I went through all public record, news reports, court documents, FBI wanted posters, newspapers piled on the desk. I read them one by one, coffee cooling and reheating and cooling. Victor Moretti, 62, Italian-American, involved drugs, arms, money laundering. He had hundreds of men, dozens of lawyers. He was never convicted, not due to lack of evidence, but because witnesses always appeared before trial. Disappearing, vanished. Some were bought, some threatened, some died. Their names in the corner of newspaper, a small line, accidental death. Ethan was the only witness who survived because he had a fake identity, because he played Ethan Black for 5 years, played it well. So well that I almost believed he was real. Maybe it wasn't just acting. Maybe in 5 years, part of him became real. That part was love. I'm not sure, but I choose to believe. Rain hit the window outside, blurring the city lights. Agent Hart came again.
Morelli's case is going to trial soon. We need Ethan to testify in court.
Then he can come back?
Not necessarily. Morelli's influence remains. Even if he goes to prison, his men won't let Ethan go.
Then how long does Ethan have to hide?
For life.
I close my eyes. For life, that means forever. It means he will change his name, change his face, change his city. He won't come back, won't drink 78-degree coffee. He will forget me. Not forget, but pretend not to remember.
He agreed. But there's a condition.
What condition?
He wants to see you once. For the last time.
The meeting place was an FBI safe house, not in Chicago, in a small town I never heard of. A 6-hour drive through cornfields, farmland, and several traffic lights. The corn was tall, blocking the distant horizon. The radio couldn't get a signal, only static hiss. I turned it off, leaving only wind noise and heartbeat in the car. The safe house was an ordinary home. White, with a hanging plant on the porch, its leaves already dried up. Agent Hart led me inside. The living room had only a sofa, a lamp, and one person. He sat on the sofa, wearing a gray hoodie that not worn. His hair was longer, beard unshaven, but his eyes, they were still those eyes.
Carla.
I walked over and sat across from him. The lamplight was dim, casting his shadow on the wall like a silhouette.
You've lost weight.
So have you. Is your phalampspis still blooming?
Yes. 6 blooms this year.
He smiled. The smile was brief, but genuine.
Carla, I'm leaving. This time it's real.
I know.
I don't know if I can come back.
I know.
I don't want a divorce.
Neither do I. He reached out and took my hand. His hand was still warm, with thin calluses on the palm. What had he been doing all these years? Maybe carrying guns, maybe training, maybe running. He didn't say, and I didn't ask. We stayed in the safe house all night. No words, just sitting. His hand never let go. Sometimes he would squeeze tighter, then release, as if confirming I was still there. The lamplight pulled our shadows together, like one entity. The wind outside was strong, rattling the window frames.
Carla, if I come back, will you wait for me?
Yes.
What if I don't come back?
Then I will come. He turned his head and looked at me. On the other side of the light, his face was half bright, half dark. The dividing line cut right through his eyes.
You can't. It's too dangerous.
If you don't let me go, I won't go. He walked over and stood in front of me. He was a head taller than me. I had to look up to see his eyes. His forehead almost...
Carla, do you know my real name?
No.
Do you want to know?
No.
Why?
Because I'm used to calling you Ethan. I can't change it now.
Then keep calling me that. I'm used to it too.
Just before dawn, Agent Hart knocked on the door. He pushed the door open, holding a cup of coffee. Steam rose from the coffee, condensation forming on the paper cup.
Time to go.
Ethan stood up and walked to the door.
Carla, no sugar in the coffee.
I know. The dozed, his footstep faded down the hall, first on the floor, then on the stairs, then silence. I returned home. The phalaenopsis was still blooming on the window seat. The 6th bloom purple and small. A drop of water hung on the petal. Dew or splash from watering. I watered it and wiped the leaves. The dust was thin. I wiped it off gently with a wet wipe, leaf by leaf. Slowly. Sunlight hit the leaves, calm as usual. Lucia came to work and saw my swollen eyes. Carla, did you cry? No. You're lying. The wind was strong. The office windows weren't open. I didn't speak. She handed me a cup of coffee. 78 degrees. How did you know? Because someone told me. She left. I held the coffee cup. The wall was hot. Morelli's trial began. News was everywhere. The headline, Trial of the Century. I saw Ethan on TV. Not Ethan, but another name, another face. He wore glasses, hair cut short, in a dark blue suit. His voice changed, tone changed, expression changed. He was a new person. The room was so quiet I could only hear the TV.
I saw Moretti order the killing with my own eyes.
The tone of that was exactly like when he said no sugar in coffee. Calm, certain, no hesitation. My tears fell. Not for him, but because I finally knew he was real. His testimony was real. His fear was real. His courage was real. His name was fake, but his life was real. The TV screen's light reflected on my face, flickering. He glanced at the camera. I didn't know if he was looking at the lens or at me. In this moment, I understood everything. I was no longer confused. I knew what I had to do. Moretti was sentenced to life in prison. His eyes scanned the lenses, as if looking for something. Maybe he was looking for Ethan, but he couldn't find him, because Ethan was gone. On the day of the verdict, I received a letter. Just one line, "Carla, it's over." It wasn't Ethan's handwriting, it was typed, but he knew I would understand. I folded the letter and put it in that cardboard box. The box was full. I got a new one, bigger, blue. Not because there were too many things, but because the days ahead are long. I returned to a normal life, work, home, eat, sleep. The orchid wilted and bloomed again. Year 5, year 6, year 7. Its roots had filled the pot. I changed the soil 3 times. When dividing, I carefully separated the roots, afraid to hurt them. One at my home, one at the office. You're not growing flowers, you're growing memories. Maybe. Are you still waiting for him? Not waiting, but blooming. In the 8th year, I received a postcard from Maine. On the back, "This lighthouse is still shining." It was his handwriting. I stuck it on the fridge, right next to the first one. The fridge was full, so I got a double-door one, although there were only 2. In the 9th year, Moretti died in prison, heart attack. His name scrolled across the bottom. He was dead. The man who hunted Ethan was gone. The Moretti family fell. His empire collapsed. Ethan didn't have to hide anymore. I called Agent Hart. "Morelli is dead. Can Ethan come back now?"
Theoretically, yes. But he has a new identity, a new life. He might not want to come back.
"Tell him I'm still waiting."
I will.
The call ended. I held my phone, standing by the window. The sky was blue, cloudless. The orchid was blooming. I opened the door that had been closed for 9 years. Put on new sheets. Dark gray, his favorite color. Waited a month, no news. 2 months, 3 months. The orchid bloomed again, purple and small. The phone rang, an unknown number.
Carla.
It was his voice. Low, a bit horky. He was at the airport. I drove to pick him up. My hands were shaking. City lights flowed past the window like colorful rivers. Then he appeared. His hair had turned white, his wrinkles had deepened. But his eyes were still those eyes. Deep gray, quiet.
Carla.
Ethan,
My coffee, no sugar?
I know.
He walked up to me. No hug, no tears. Just stood there, looking at me. My hands were still shaking, but this time from excitement. He still had that habit, tapping his fingers when nervous or relaxed. My coffee, no sugar.
I know.
We were going home. This time, no longer a shadow. He moved into my apartment, not renting, living. He placed the suitcase in the corner and opened it. The clothes were neatly folded. He didn't have much. A jacket, a notebook, a photo, a woman with short hair smiling brightly. That was 10 years ago, before I knew him. When did he take it? I didn't know. Did you steal my photo?
Not stealing. Preserving.
When was it taken?
The first time you came to my apartment. You stood at the door, didn't come in. But I captured it. Through the crack in the door.
Did you care about me back then?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Yes.
He told me his real name, not Ethan, another one, 3 syllables, very ordinary. I tried several times but kept getting it wrong. He said it didn't matter. I said it did, because that face was Ethan's, that smile was Ethan's, those hands were Ethan's. Names can change, but people don't. Then what should I call you?
Call me whatever you want.
Ethan.
I've known him for 10 years.
Okay.
For the first time, his smile had no burden. No tension in his eyes, no stiffness in his mouth. I thought I'd left everything behind, but some roads lead you back to where you belong.
No more leaving. Sure. Moretti is dead, his men scattered, his case closed. I've been everywhere I could go. Only here with you I haven't been.
Then stay.
Okay.
Looking at the city night view, in this moment, I knew the shadow had finally returned to the light. We started living like an ordinary couple. Mornings, he brewed coffee. I added sugar. He warmed my milk. I toasted his bread. He never used a thermometer for the milk temperature. He just tested it with his finger. He didn't eat cilantro. I added extra chili peppers. He washed the dishes. I wiped the table. The clinking of dishes was crisp. The sound of running water gurgled. One day, he was cutting onions in the kitchen, so spicy that tears flowed. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand, but the tears flowed even harder. I stood at the doorway, watching his back. His back was thin, his shoulders slightly slumped, but he was cutting onions, seriously, slice by slice. The onion rolled on the cutting board. He held it down with his hand. Ethan. Do you regret it? Regret taking that agent's job back then?
No regrets.
Why?
Because that $5,000 bought me a lifetime.
I walked over and hugged him from behind, tensed up, then slowly relaxed. His shoulders dropped, leaning into my embrace. We decided to reveal our marriage, not to everyone, but to those close to us. Lucia was the first to know. She said, "I finally don't have to help you cover up the lie anymore." What lie? When people asked, "What does your boss's husband do?" I said he's on a business trip. For 10 years. We treated her to dinner, not to celebrate, but to thank her. She cried. Ethan handed her a tissue, the tissue he pulled from his pocket, folded neatly.
Lucia, thank you.
Thank me for what?
For keeping our secret.
That was my job. No, it was because we're friends.
After she left, Ethan asked me,
Carla, will you regret it? Regret not knowing the truth earlier?
"No,
Why?
because if I had known earlier, you wouldn't have acted. If you didn't act, you wouldn't be Ethan. If you weren't Ethan, I wouldn't have fallen in love with you." He took my hand.
Then when did you fall in love with me?
I don't remember. Maybe when you said no sugar in the coffee. Maybe when you called me darling at the party. Maybe when you gave me that pot of orchids. I don't remember, but it must have been early. In that moment, I knew love had already taken root. Within those false performances grew the most genuine feelings. Ethan started looking for a job, not freelance, but a real job. He sent out many resumes, went to many interviews. His ID was real, his social security number was real, his diploma was real, but they weren't his. They were given to him by the Witness Protection Program. His grades were real, but his name was fake. The interviewer asked, "Why do you have a 10-year employment gap?"
Because I was in a place I can't name, doing a job I can't discuss.
The interviewer's face shifted from confusion to suspicion, then to impatience. No one believed him. There was a crack in the ceiling, there since we moved in, never repaired.
Carla, I might not be able to find a job.
Then don't look.
I can't let you support the family alone.
You supported this family for 10 years. 10 years you played the husband without a salary.
That wasn't supporting the family.
Yes, it was. His eyes had bloodshot veins. His eye bags were deep. Ethan, what you gave me wasn't money. You gave me marriage. You gave me the warmth of having someone wait for me to come home every night. We opened a detective agency. Not private investigators, but serving those who were wrongly accused, framed. Ethan had experience. I had the license. First client was an elderly woman whose son was falsely accused of stealing company money.
He didn't steal. He's a good person.
She cried. Ethan checked the surveillance for her. He pulled up the footage, watching it frame by frame. When he watched the surveillance, his eyes didn't blink, like he was watching prey. Found it. The real culprit was another employee who transferred the money to an overseas account. The son was acquitted. The elderly woman came to thank us. Holding Ethan's hand, her hand was thin, knuckles prominent.
Thank you. You are a good person.
Carla, I finally did something without hiding, without fear.
You never had to be afraid. Was it me who made you afraid?
No. It was you who made me unafraid.
In the sunlight, we finally found each other. The detective agency's reputation spread slowly, not by ads but by word of mouth, for being followed, for suspecting their husbands of cheating. Ethan was good at tracking, I was good at analysis. He did field work, I did paperwork. We one look from other for 10 and knew what he saw, one from me and he knew which direction to chase. One day, a young woman walked in. She sat down.
I need you to help me find a man.
Yes. What man?
My husband. He disappeared.
My finger paused. The coffee cup shook slightly on the table. 3 months ago. He went out at night and never came back. Did you call the police? Why do you think we can find him? I did. They couldn't find him. Because you two are also people who have disappeared. Her voice was soft, but firm. In that moment, I knew. The story began again. At Echo Detective Arancis, every disappearance has an echo. We took the case, not for the money, but because her eyes mirrored mine from years ago. That emptiness, that tension of holding back tears. I checked every record, phone, bank, social media, nothing. He vanished, just like Ethan. But this time it wasn't witness protection. He was kidnapped. Ethan found a clue. In an abandoned warehouse, signs of a struggle. Dust dragged into a long mark, like a snake's trail. A drop of dried blood in the corner, dark brown, seeped into the concrete crack. DNA match confirmed. It was her husband's. Ethan didn't tell me. But he stayed up all night. I woke to see him on the balcony, smoking. He had quit years ago.
Carla, I'm scared.
Scared of what?
Scared that man is dead. Scared she won't get him back.
You won't let him die. Because you died once too. You know the taste of being alive. We found the man, locked in a basement, skin and bones. Kidnapped by loan sharks over unpaid gambling debts. We called the police. When they rushed in, he was lying on the concrete. He opened his eyes to the light, squinting against the harsh beam, raising a hand to block it. He cried, not silently, but a gorial sob held back for too long. Ethan helped him up. Unsteady, he leaned on Ethan's shoulder.
Thank you. No need. Just being alive is enough.
Case closed. The woman came to thank us, crying in Ethan's arms. Ethan's hands rose, then fell. He didn't know how to comfort anyone, but he stood there, letting her lean, not pushing away, not hiding. His fingers hovered, then finally rested gently on her shoulder. That night, he sat on the balcony, watching the city lights. Ethan, what are you thinking about?
If I hadn't signed that agency contract, I didn't take your case, where would I be now? Maybe already dead.
Perhaps.
But I didn't die. I'm alive, and I'm with you.
I leaned on his shoulder, his arm wrapped around me, pulling me closer.
Carla, is your orchid still there?
Yes. It's been blooming for 20 years.
20 years.
He smiled. The wind was light, the light a plane passed, its tail light blinking like a moving star. The orchid bloomed for its 20th year. We moved 3 times, changed houses, but that pot followed us, from windowsill to balcony, from balcony to garden. Its roots grew thicker, its leaves denser. It split into many pots, gifted to many friends. A white pot with little blue flowers painted on it. This is the flower you've grown for 10 years. It's 20 years. Wait, you've only known him for 10? You grew it for 20? I started growing it before I met him. I just didn't know who it was for. Ethan heard it, said nothing, but later he secretly took a photo of that pot, set it as his wallpaper. I laughed when I saw it. His wallpaper used to be default blue, no patterns at all. Now, that shade of blue finally had a shape. We have no children. Not because we can't, but because we don't want to. Our days are crowded enough. There's no room for a third person. But we have a pet. A black cat. A stray. Ethan found it in an alley, skin and bones lying by the trash cans, eyes closed, fur matted and dirty. Ethan crouched down, reaching out. It didn't run, didn't bit. It just looked at Ethan. Then it stood up, walked over, and rubbed against his leg. Its meow was faint, as if it hadn't spoken in ages, voice hoardy.
Carla, let's keep it.
Are you sure?
Sure. Because it's a wanderer too.
We named it Echo, not after the agency, but for itself. Because it always meows once, then pauses, as if waiting for an echo. Cats don't wait for people. but it does. Maybe it waits for Ethan, for me, for us to come home. Agent Hart retired. He came for dinner. He's old, hair completely white, hands shaking, chopsticks hitting the plate. He looked at the orchid. A new pot, blue and white porcelain, a gift from Lucia.
Is this the one you grew?
Yes.
It's still alive, just like your marriage.
Hart, thank you.
For what?
For taking me to see her back then.
Not my call. It was yours. You said you'd die to see her once.
Ethan looked at me. I didn't know. He never said he'd die to see me. That night in the safe house, it was his request. He traded his life for one goodbye. I cried, not silently, but uncontrollably on the table. Hart patted my hand. His hand was rough, like bark. Then he stood up and left. The door closed softly. I dug out the box, and that photo he secretly took at my office door. In the photo, I was on the phone, frowning, mouth slightly open. I didn't know he was taking it. Ethan. What was I doing when you first saw me?
On the phone. You were fierce, scolding the other party. So fierce they didn't get to talk back.
Then why did you choose me?
Because your voice sounded good.
Liar.
Really? Your voice was steady, even when scolding. I thought, this person's reliable. Finjo and her, I come up with horse.
Washoud. He too. Had his mofugen wud, the mudra circles on my eft on the back hood. Rela slowly, circle over circle. In that moment, I felt something in my heart melt. This certificate was no longer just a piece of paper.
Now, do you still think I'm a shadow?
No, you are my light.
Can you feel it? It's beating fast.
Is it because of me?
Always. From the first time I saw you.
It turns out, shadows can shine too. In this fact, we are no longer isolated islands. We are each other's only one and each other's home. The detective agency took on its 300th case. Nothing major, just finding a cat. The cat had been missing for 3 months. A cat bowl sat on the stone steps. The cat food inside had dried out, covered in ants. He found it in an abandoned factory. The cat huddled in the corner, thin, dirty, but still alive. It saw Ethan and let out a cry. Its voice was horsey. The elderly person cried while holding the cat, and the mout meow softly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Cats are family too.
That he came lied, he diked a paper bag. It's from the supermart, with decal bright red strawberries. What is this?
A gift from the elderly person. Homegrown strawberries.
I washed the strawberries and put them in a bowl. They were sweet. Ethan don't like sweets, but he ate 3. He ate each one slowly, as if savoring something precious. Carla? Say, if we were old and our cat got lost, would you go look for it?
Yes.
What if I got lost?
I would too.
He smiled. In that moment, I knew we were no longer shadows. We were each other's only one. In this vast city, we finally found each other. This is the taste of home. The story has just begun. We donated that notebook to the museum, not for its value, but as evidence, proof that someone lived, feared, and was brave. The museum is downtown, near the fountain. Ethan and I sometimes walk there, watching those yellowed pages. The warm yellow light in the cabinet makes the handwriting clear.
These are the most important words I've ever written.
Not the marriage certificate?
The certificate was fake.
The names were fake, those were fake, but the bond was real.
Carla, do you regret it?
No.
Why?
Because the real can't be fake. And the fake isn't true. You are real. In that moment, all lies became steps toward the truth. Today is our 20th wedding anniversary. Not a ceremony, but a day. In the morning, he brewed coffee. I toasted bread. He warmed my milk. I added sugar for him. The milk bubbled in the pot, steam fogging up the kitchen window. 20 years of mornings, still like this. Lucia sent a message, "Happy anniversary." Thank you. She asked, "What did he give you?" He's still alive. She sent a crying emoji.
What's wrong with her?
She said she's moved that we're still here. He walked over and hugged me from behind. His chin rested on top of my head.
Carla, we'll be here for a long time.
How do you know?
Because the orchid is still blooming.
The flower on the windowsill, small, the 20th bloom. There was a dewdrop on the petal, shimmering in the sunlight. As long as the orchid blooms, we remain. Today, we sat on the balcony. The wind was light, the lights bright. Distant city lights bloomed orange like a giant flower. He held my hand, thumb circling my skin.
Carla. Why did you choose me back then?
Because your resume said one thing, doesn't ask questions.
The agency wrote that.
I know, but I chose you for your photo. You were smiling. Not a professional smile, a real one. I thought if he can still smile, life hasn't beaten him.
How do you know life beat me?
Because I was beaten too. But if you're beaten and still smile, you've won. He looked down at my hands. Sunlight hit us, our shadows merging.
Thank you for letting you.
For what? It needs no words, only light, just as I need only him. The phone rang. Not a call, a text. Unknown number. I smiled.
Who is it?
No one.
You smiled.
Can I smile?
You treed.
I held the phone, the screen went dark. The sky outside was blue, no clouds, 78 degrees. This was life we wanted. Not earth-shattering, just perfectly right.